Hello everyone, welcome back to Skeledon, Bushcraft and Survival. Glad you can join me. Now I'm out here accepting a challenge. I got challenged by my good friend Rod. Beat around to Bushcraft Caywood. I'll leave a link in the description. Awesome guy, awesome friend of mine. And he challenged me over the University of Bushcraft University. So coming out here and using minimal gear to challenge myself and still be able to get the 4 things that you really need to survive. And that's a shelter, food, fire, and water. Well, the thing about that is that was funny, University of Bushcraft University, but Bushcraft really isn't funny. Bushcraft is a very important thing for people to do. It's a way to learn the methods and skills and obtain the skills to survive in a safe environment. And one should challenge, themselves, So I'm coming out here and after a long thought of what I was going to do, I'm going to have a knife on me, and I'm going to have flint and steel. Everything in this right here, it's just flint and steel. And a water bottle. And that's all I'm going to use, and hopefully I can, with that and that alone, get everything that I need. And I know I can. So we'll just see how easy it is. I think it's going to be a struggle. But anyways, I'll come back in an hour and we'll see how far along I've come.
You can kind of see him back there getting something. He's gathering up something, I don't know what. Looks like a Sasquatch in the woods. There he is. Should have never put me in charge of the camera.
Well, I do have big feet.
I know. I buy your shoes. So, he's done forgot the batteries to his camera. So he recruited me, as in Mrs. Skeledon. Look at him walking away from me like that. He's recruited me as camera woman. It's actually a pretty nice day out here. Perfect day to do all this stuff. It ain't hot and humid and nice and bright. A little wet from all the rain we got. Alright, so the hour's up. So let's see what he's got so far.
Still got a little bit more to go on it. But got to put a lot more leaves up here on top and stuff like that. But there's a few opening areas. But this will work just fine. I get enough leaves on here and it'll prevent me from getting wet if it rains and stuff. And up underneath here, I would take dead leaves and shove them up in there, and then put more live, freshly cut leaves on top of that right there. And that way it'll have a nice bed. Because you want to get yourself off the ground some. You lose a lot of body heat through the ground. So just raising yourself a little bit and giving you some kind of insulation in between there really goes a long way. So I'm almost done with that right there. Next up is fire. So let me go ahead and get things in order and I'll start a fire. All right, now in that container right there, I do have a steel. It was a gift to me that I've used 1,000 times over again. In fact, in front of my wife behind the camera.
Behind the counter.
But I used it to show her how it works and everything. Started up a fire with it and stuff. And but I also want to show that having a carbon steel knife can also be substituted. So And there you have it. I also want to show a good use for a forked tree limb. You can use the forked tree limb to hold it up and allow the air to come in through and slowly lower it down so that it doesn't suffocate it. So, forked tree limb comes in handy. So now I got my fire. I just need water. And believe it or not, you can actually use tree bark to make a funnel and purify water. Now, I've got one over here. Hold on a second.
Should have brought marshmallows.
Alright. Peel off the tree bark and then you funnel it up. Let me go ahead and put my stuff up, and I want to put more wood on the fire. So, there we go. And one more, I guess, over here so the fire will climb. Okay, and put this back in my pocket. All right, now this right here, like I said, the inner bark of a tree. Make sure that you use non-toxic tree when you do this. But you can funnel it up and you can stuff down inside there grass, gravel, sand, and of course you've got charcoal here. So you can put charcoal up on top, run your water through, and using you should always have something to drink with you. You should always have a container. So, filter the water into this right here. And you could actually use that right there, put on the fire, boil the water, and complete the purification. Or, you can make another one of these, and through heat, it bends a lot more. You can wrap that off with natural cordage, and you can plug up that end right there. Just literally squish it, and with the aid of the fire, bend it. And you could use that to catch the water that is coming through the other one to purify it. And then you could use this to actually boil the water on top of there. Because if there's water inside, it will not burn. The outer edges will burn, but inside, it won't burn. So, that right there is my water taken care of. A way to make a purifier out in the wilderness, you know, using tree bark. And future videos will actually show that in practice. And so I guess the only thing now, I got my shelter. I do have my water. And I also want to add, before I leave off the water thing, there's more than just this. This is springtime, and during this time right now, you can tap trees. Behind me, I have a beech tree. That specific beech tree is not big enough to tap, but there are beech trees here that are big enough to tap. Got sugar maple, tap, and that is fresh water. And then, on top of that, I also want to clarify that we do not have birch, but birch is another one that you could tap in this time of the year and get water from. So, just to name a few. Now, I guess moving on to food. Now, food is my favorite because there is so many different options. Maple leaves are out. Those are edible. The seeds are out. Those are edible. The cambium is edible. We've got stinging nettle coming up. Very edible, very good, very nutritious. Dandelions. We got food all over the place. Got goosegrass. Got goosegrass. That is also available right now.
What about them onion things?
Ramps are still up. They won't be very much longer, but they are still up, and we do have wild onions. So, yeah, got a plethora of food here. And also, I do want to mention, in earlier videos I have showed how to do to make traps. And on the first day of survival, it would be very important to make traps and make a lot of them. You may make 20 and yield 0, so the more the merrier. So you can use the inner bark here, make cordage, natural cordage. In an earlier video I showed how to do that and how to process it all the way through. And you can use that cordage, it's very strong, to make snares with. And of course, using a knife, you can make the notches and all stuff. And in earlier videos I've showed how to do that. So yeah, I think that right there actually covers everything, all of the bases. Takes care of the water, the fire, the shelter, and the food. All right, now, I've been saying it for a long time. If you've watched any of my earlier videos, I've said it a lot. I'm not a real big gear guy. I think that you should learn the methods and skills to do it without gear. And by doing so, it allows you to extremely appreciate the value of the gear that you have. I love my gear. I absolutely love it. Store-bought gear, I love it. But I have a higher appreciation for it because I know how to do it without it. So, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for coming along. And if you liked the video, smash that like button, subscribe, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And remember, nature, it does provide. thank you very much, Rod, again for tagging me or challenging me on this right here. I had a lot of fun. See you on the next one.